It was still very foreign. And this is as recent as, I think it was 2007, 2006, because I think that's a time when now the transition started happening and people were starting to demand more from their phones. At that point, I don't think giving a phone to a child was actually a thing. It did not exist.
As who?
It did not exist.
Can you?
The thing of giving a phone to a child came when we started. It came when we started getting smartphones. So there's something that fundamentally changed, which I think people who are parents at that time maybe can tell us. Like what exactly happened to where it was just normal to let your child go to school or just go to, like to the babysitter or whatever, and they would just go without a phone, and you would come back and pick them and things would be okay.
I think, and maybe I stand to be corrected, because when cell phones started coming on, it's portable. For a while, house phones and cell phones were, you could say, what was trending. Because at that point, call boxes started fading out.
They started disappearing. There's a Verizon.
Yeah, it's a Verizon. They started Bell Atlantic, whatever. They started disappearing. So at some point, you have a cell phone, but you're using it maybe because you're at work. But even at work, at some point, like certain jobs, there's no way you could answer. You could make personal calls
using the work phone.
No, you couldn't. Because, of course, at the end of the day, you're told, if you do this, this is going to happen. So there are repercussions. So when cell phones started happening, you have something that's mobile. So if you want to reach somebody,
you can call them.
You can call them. So if you have a child, if you, let's say I take them to my son and nampeleka kwa Mosh, atuseme Mosh hana simu, I'm just thinking, you know what? Or if they have a house phone, that is sour. But if, let's say, for example, Mosh doesn't have a house phone, how are you going to reach out somebody? How are you going to reach somebody?
Yeah.
So there's nobody you can call. You're not going to call the neighbor.
Yeah.
You're like, you know what? But cell phones are available. So you plan. You're like, okay, whatever the plans were. You like, maybe I'll give you a pager. They started slowly. If you page, give you a pager. They give the toy a pager. You can page. If I page you, or you'll talk to Emotion and say, I'm going to have my child call me at a certain time. Sawa. You can do that. But at some point, it became easier just to give a toy a phone.
Yeah.
And for emergency uses only.
Correct.
Purposes.
Yeah.
That was it. And you're like, there are minutes here. And how much were phone bills back then, by the way?
It depends on how you used it.
But let's say
it depends on the plans. It depends on the plans that you had.
You are paying about, was it like $60?
I don't know how much
it could even have been more. It depended on the plan you had.
I think it was about 60. But
if you had that plan for 400 minutes,
how many calls you got? Because remember, when you got a call, you paid, and when you called out, you paid.
Yes.
And that's why there were some plans that gave you a certain maximum number of minutes, and then at night, from 9 p.m.,
yes,
it would be unlimited minutes.
Calling.
Yes.
And it would be unlimited calling within your network. If you're doing, let's say, if you're at Sprint phone, Sprint to Sprint. If it's Nextel, you were Nextel to Nextel. If it's Verizon to Verizon.
But it would be free though, at night.
It's free, yes, after 9.
After 9.
After 9 o'clock,
yes.
It was free if you call to people within your
but I think even also, because I'm trying to think, because at that time, I'm not saying any of my peers had any kids. Because we're looking at, let's say, late 90s, early 2000s. Most of the guys that were around, how can our toy?
That was a fresh batch. That was a fresh batch of
like
Kenyans.
those phones, whatever. Yeah. Even before the G1 came or whatever.
G1 was later. G1 was 2008.
So after those career phones, that's where the Motorola Razr.
Yeah.
Those two flip phones.
Moto.
Yeah.
Those two flip phones.
That was advanced.
Razr was Samsung. I don't know.
The Razr was it.
Because of Verizon.
Because remember, you could even
Razr
exchange ringtones.
Yes.
You
By
could
the
exchange
way,
ringtones.
Yala.
Yeah, you could send-
you could buy ringtones.
I had the Nextel Flip.
Why?
You know the
Oh,
Nextel
it's with
push
Sprint.
to talk with
With Sprint.
Flip. Yep.
Yes.
Now, why in the
Boss.
world would someone buy a ringtone? I'm just thinking about
Boss.
it right now.
But they, you know, they do
But
that
they
in
still
Kenya.
do it even
in
now.
Kenya. They do
They
it.
still do it even now.
Wow.
It's a huge
Yeah,
source
it's a
of
huge
income.
source of income.
Damn.
And now, by the way, when you are saying that, at that
Yeah.
point in time, they also now they broke that mold of you could transfer phones, your numbers.
Yes.
You could port your numbers.
Port your number. Yes.
No, by the time I came to the States, numbers were being ported.
Yes.
You know, so to me that was because
It
in
was-
Kenya,
yeah.
in Kenya you still can't port numbers. So zamani ulikuwa huwezi kuport number like from Verizon to
No,
Yeah,
you couldn't.
AT&T.
Yeah,
but
it-
you see, the
it
thing
was
is,
only internally
but if you see
from
with your card,
to
so
network
what we
to
needed
network.
were phones that were unlocked. Which in any, it doesn't matter
Yes.
what phone I get.
Yeah.
I put the SIM card. Me, I'm good to go.
If it's a dual, what do they call it?
Dual SIM.
Not dual SIM. No. Because between CDMA and GSM,
Yeah,
if it was a dual, then most times you could, because the only guys who were doing CDMA I think was Verizon. Then everybody else
and
was
Sprint.
And Sprint.
I think
Sprint too.
everybody
T-Mobile-
else was
T-Mobile
T-Mobile
GSM.
was the only
Only one
network
that
was the
that
only
could allow SIM
GSM
cards.
because even before AT&T used to be called Singular. They were
Singular
still
wireless.
They were
Yes,
still
yes,
not
yeah.
yeah.
And
They were still
Singular,
not yeah.
you could roll over minutes. So there are guys who, if you're not using your minutes, you
Yeah,
could
a
roll
month
them
to
over
month.
a
Yeah,
month.
from a month to month.
Yeah.
So if you have you've vacation 500 or 200, una roll over. If you finish, you get 200. So you find like month 3, month 4, a guy has got 1,500 unused minutes. That's when you're flossing and you're balling, right? At that particular point in
Yes.
time. So I think, and phones at back then, you know, were being used for like emergency purposes.
Yeah.
In emergency.
Yeah.
That was it. If I call you, and by the way, when I say toys, I'm talking about maybe teenagers. You're 14,
Yeah.
15.
Yeah,
At
if,
that
if,
point
you're,
in
if
time,
you're under 10,
if you're under 10, you're not
nothing.
getting
Yeah.
because you're going to somebody's house. That person I can reach. If that person, you know, I can reach that person
And
wherever I'm
people,
taking.
people had house phones.
Yes.
Even though
So
they
house
still had
phones,
the
there was
cells.
no yes.
House
they had-
phones were
they
still
had-
a thing.
They had house phones.
Yeah.
They had house phones.
Yes.
So it was house phones. Over here now, house phones, you know, they were easy. It was not as expensive.
Yeah, the cost of a house phone was, if you pay $20 in a month,
20 bucks,
that's a
like
lot.
you have exhausted. I remember my one time I got a phone bill and then there was a 1-900 number, and I'm like, who's 1-900? So I asked them, like, what is 1-900? This like what? Man, I asked my cousin Baba Hanya, yo,
is that
did you call? Did you call 1-900?
Boss.
No.
Is 1-900 collect?
No. That is 1-800 collect. 1-900
was those porn.
those my phone things.
those porn.
My bro is the one who had called. We got a bill of $100. $100.
And they charge you something like $3.
See you $3 a minute.
Wow.
I'm
okay.
like,
that I
what
wasn't
did they
even
want? Are
aware.
you-
There's a
What-
connect fee of like $5.
Whatever it is.
Then from there is like $3 a minute.
Wow,
Highly.
that's new to me. That's new to me.
Gade.
It wasn't Miss Cleo.
Yeah.
It wasn't Miss
It
Cleo.
wasn't Miss Cleo.
Okay, that's a new one.
Yeah, so there was that.
Ali, would you 1-900?
No,
Bro,